The gift that keeps giving. Why went there's a brand new injector in there. Remember the guy smashed the old one up. Why have I not been doing any uploads in a while? Why has there been no progress on the other van? I took the van's this one has been off the road for what, 3 or 4 weeks out of the month, which is absolutely shocking. Check the size of that. They're not messing about, are they? So I took it to a garage to get the suspension fixed, and they managed to hump my power steering rack. So it was away for about 14 days. Then I took it to another garage. That cam cover's looking great, isn't it? 220,000 miles in this one. Took it to another garage to get an injector seal replaced. They ended up smashing the cam cover and having to pull 4 injectors instead of 1. Oh, do that. Instead of having to pull 1 injector, they had to pull 4. Instead of having to pull 1 injector, they had to pull the 4. Put a new cam cover on. In the past couple of weeks, this van's a dog. I reckon I've spent maybe £1,000 on this thing. I don't think this van's worth £1,000. And it's been in the garage longer than it's been on the road. So that's just crap bananas, isn't it? It's meant that I've had to wait for my daughter to come home at night to get the car so I can come down here and do stuff. What have I been doing with my time? I bought a computer that runs an audio software package called Logic. So the past couple of weeks I've been in the house learning how to use that. It's really fascinating. A lot of contemporary records, I can hear where they're getting their sounds from. There's sample banks, and it makes life very, very easy for people that aren't very gifted musically to make records. So takes that van for suspension. They goes the power steering pump. Need to get injector seal replaced. You seen, I think that was the last video, the cylinder head was in pieces. Van's been off the road for ages. I've been doing this Logic audio thing. I've got some stuff I've been working on. I'll let you hear it over the next video or two. So I've not been in the workshop very much in the past 2 weeks. And most of my time has been spent learning how to use the recording software. We've got a recording studio upstairs. Some of the most gifted musicians in Scotland use the place. And I'm bashing steel on an old van when I could be up there making the hit records. So that's why there's not been any uploads in quite a while. I'm up tonight. Now, I don't know when the last time I put a video on YouTube, but I thought I would have had this in paint, and I'm nowhere near it. Oh, there's a story I will with this van as well. That wing, or fender as the Americans would call it. I was pulling the van out the workshop one day, and Joe Regan, my mate, Joe's a cracking guy, an amazing guitarist, very, very, very gifted, bright, intelligent human being. Joe Regan, watch out for him, he's going to go far. He'd left his bike over there, I didn't see it, and it put an enormous big ding into the fender ring. So I did that really well, hammered and dawed, and that was the damage here, but it was really badly damaged, and I managed to do an okay repairing it. When I do go to start painting, I want to paint a lot of stuff. I've got another one of these upstairs that I'll do at the same time as this. So Joe left his bike over next to the door. I pulls the van out. Here's a crunching noise. That fender got dented. So cheers, Joe. Much as I love you, I do what you did at this point in time. Then there's another story of woe. In the middle of the winter, I was reversing the van outside, and there's a big shipping container down there. See that? The yellow bit down the side? That makes it easy to see the shipping container, doesn't it? And I mean, they're quite difficult things to miss. However, this van doesn't have any lights in. So I managed to reverse that into the shipping container. Now, I've pulled it out quite a lot using pieces of wood in the back, but I mean, I'd absolutely mangled that. So this van in the past 2 years has driven 300-400 yards. It's used, the engine's probably ran on it for 6 or 7 hours, and all the time it's been back here. The furthest I've driven it's to the gate outside, and back down to the wall, or turned it around and stuff like that. All starts first time, so that's got to be good. And I've managed to have 2 bumps in it. That's got to be some kind of world record, hasn't it? So that's the reason for the lack of uploads. Now that I've got the other van going, it means I can try to get some work during the day, and I'll be able to come up and down to the workshop. So bear with me. I know there's been little or no movement whatsoever since the last time we've been up. And despite the nightmare I've had with my other van, I'm still going to say T1Ns are very, very reliable old vehicles. They're rust buckets, but mechanically they're fairly bulletproof. Just be careful with things like injector pulling and stuff like that. Last story before I go. So Final gets the other van back yesterday. I don't know if my wife's watching my videos, I don't want her to know this. Drives at a couple of 100 yards and hears a rattling noise coming from some place in the van. I thought to myself, that's just what I need, straight out of the garage. And another problem has highlighted itself. So last night I was so scunnered, SCUNNERED, Scottish word being fed up, gutted, raging or whatever. I thought, I'm not bothering even looking at that. I'll take it up to the workshop tomorrow and see what the hell this new noise is. There's a saying with these vans, they tend to keep going, they just make stranger and stranger noises. So when I come out to the van this morning to drive to the workshop, I seen something hanging down underneath it. There's 2 metal straps hold the diesel tank on. One of them had rotted through and the diesel tank was half hanging out the van. So then I had to drive 10 miles from my house up here. Should I even be putting this on YouTube? Should I say this? Through really congested and busy parts of the city with the potential that my diesel tank could fall out at any point and give me a real crap day. So I still think T1Ns are great. I've had a nightmare with that one in the past couple of weeks. I've not done any transport. I've been learning how to use the audio stuff. There will be more T1N uploads. Gavin had been messaging me, Shug. I'm going to link to his videos in the description. I think the guy's brilliant, real funny. And he was asking me if I'd given up, and I said, no way am I giving up on it. The good bits to come. It's paint now, isn't it? Body fill. The way I like to work is, if you're doing metal work, there's certain tools you use for metal work. If you're doing painting, there's tools you use for painting. I like to do one thing. I've not had any time, not been coming up very often. I've been learning how to use this recording software, but there is no way I'm stopping working this old van. And here's the other thing as well. If that one had been working MOT'd and on the road, and the other van came off the road for a month, I wouldn't have cared. I would have had something else to drive about in. So although my priorities have changed and I want to get the studio up and running and start recording some of these real gifted players that we've got up here, I also want to continue working this, but I have to walk away from it now. Okay, so an explanation as to why there's not been a lot of uploads and the stories of woe in my life. The amount of times I thought about scrapping the other van now, two last things. I did actually think about scrapping it. Now imagine getting to a point where you'd write a vehicle off because you couldn't get one diesel injector out of the bloody thing, right? When I looked at the prices of T1Ns, there are no cheap T1Ns in the market anymore. People watching these videos that have got a lot of money are going to think when I say you're not getting them below 2,500 to 3,000 quid. That isn't actually a lot of money, but a couple of years ago these things were going for £600, £700, £800. There was no money in them. So the market is kind of going back up. Wayne Popoff, I think the guy's name is, from Devon or Cornwall, he's a Brummie. He bought one for about £3,000. I think that's about the right money for these old vans now. So it looks as if if they're running and they're serviceable, the value of them is going back up. Last thing I'm going to do is Before I left the house this morning, I watched Alexander, my Russian mate's videos. He's finished the blue van he was working on just outside of Moscow. I'm going to link that in the description down below. Wait till you see the job the guy's done. I can't big him up enough. As I said before, he didn't buy these panels. He made everything himself. The job he's done, it's just remarkable. So, thanks for watching another riveting episode of the old Zambo TV. I've not had a lot of luck recently, but I struggled on, endeavoured. That's running again. And the work will continue this. See you all later. Bye.